studio again. For those of you who have been here before, thank you. And for those joining me the first time, welcome. Each time it's different and a different setup as I'm learning how to do these. So forgive me in advance, it is a rookie video, but I want to show you some painting techniques and approaches, because when you walk into your creative zone, wherever it is, whenever it is, it should be your special time to go deep inside yourself, to think about your emotions, what you're feeling, what you love, what you want to paint. So today I thought I wanted to show you the start of a painting that will be made with acrylics on a canvas. And then I want to do some watercolor with you a little bit and show you how my approach may or may not be different. So I found, let me show you a couple things, but these, where I can find them later, hopefully. First of all, color theory. I'm a very intuitive painter. And although in oil painting days back many years ago, I learned how to mix colors. And from the primary colors of red, yellow, and blue, you can make so many colors. Add white and black, you have another whole spectrum of mixing and feel emotions that you can put into your painting. You can experiment on side canvas or paper if you want beforehand. You can pre-mix paints, or you can paint right on canvas, as I'll do today for expediency purposes. Again, welcome. No rules, just set out your paints in the safety of your own home and studio. Plus, if you're a messy painter like I am, and we'll get started in a minute. I do want to show you there are tools. So there's a color compass if it's something you want to look into. You can buy a mix. And this is a Grumbacher one, which shows how to visualize and mix. And inside, there's a little book with talking about the color wheels, double primaries palette. If you try to test me on this stuff, I would not pass, because again, I'm intuitive. So what's a complementary color of something? I'm not always sure. What I do when I paint is to think about what kind of a feel and mood and my first colors. Do I want it to be a warm painting? And all that that brings to you as far as emotions and color choices go? Do I want it to be a cool or a moody or an introspective or even a denser, filled with thought kind of a painting? So what I did today, and I have some paper plates I'll do some mixing on probably. I tried to set this up so you can see a little better than maybe in the past. So I hope so. What else was I going to do? Well, a little bit like I am a messy painter, as I said, so I keep an apron here. Somewhere I have another one, probably in a travel bag. I do want to warn you too that when you look on your own computers, the colors might be different and look very different. Here, shooting these videos in my studio, I find that my lights are not natural light. So I'm going to try to add one more light on in here and see how it goes. And there's shadows from how the lights go. So I will try to pick these up and show you at a certain point in time. The watercolor paper I'm using back there, clipped to a foam core board, is Arches 120-pound rough. I did a sketch on it just before starting the video, and I'll show you the source of this sketch. On the canvas, I also did a quick pencil sketch, and this is I'm feeling blue because I can't probably travel all this year with our health situation going on. So as I've been going through sketchbooks and all kinds of things, I sometimes find photographs. This is one of my special places, a photograph from the south of France. Let me try to get it. So there you go, maybe not. So I love cafes. I love sitting in them, watching other people. And sometimes I'll snap a photo to be because I know I want to paint it. I want to recapture the feel of that place, not the person, not whether it was Sally or Bobby over there. So what I often do is I then do a sketch, sometimes realistic. This is rather naturalistic or trying to have the umbrella. I love the color of the umbrella, so that's why that'll factor in. I'm not much on geometry. I don't do rulers and stuff when I paint. So my lines are always rather organic. So, and the one thing I'll talk about a little bit, the watercolor when we break. I'll try to do about 15 minutes on each painting or maybe longer on this one and see what's going to happen. You know, I love all kinds of brushes. I love pigment. So I'm going to start without looking at the photo or the sketch anymore. I've closed them up in the book. What kind of feel I want overall. And we've talked about painting and covering the entire surface because acrylics, once they dry, you can layer on top. If they're still wet, they'll mix and you'll get sometimes desired results, sometimes special surprises that you'll love, and sometimes something that you can't wait for it to dry because you've got to paint over that spot. It's all good. Have fun. I've also mentioned that I use all kinds of paints, everything from Liquitex Basics and student grade to the better paints. So what I will do, because I want this to have an overall warm feeling, excuse me, so sometimes I will color the painting, and I'll try to get some better light on that and bring it forward. I'll try to color the painting with a warm color underneath. This is just a cad yellow light hue. Looks like the tube is getting old. And as I use this, paper plates, sometimes with my palette, put a little water in here. And if you do a sketch, either with paint or pencil, you can see that it's mixing in with the color here. The pencil, that graphite, is also running. So now, even though our lady's in shadow, the whole feel of this is warm. Even though that's under there. So now while it's still wet, we're going to really need some more tables. Some orange. This is Golden's cadmium orange. So as I'm remembering, I think I want the umbrella to go off the page. And there are streaks, and that's okay. I also want these colors, again, the warmth of this color. Remember that pillow she had behind her? Objects and things are just excuses to paint or to place color. So you can use or imagine, make up things. I have her kind of holding a glass. And this orange, we're just going to pretend it comes right up against this guy. The rest of him blocks it. get a lot of that orange out of here. And keeping in the warmth mode. I'm not putting any white in here, black yet. I'm going to use a little bit of this red, Cad Red Medium. This one, I'm going to put some white in. Now, because you can at least still see me, let me try to talk louder. I'm just going to dump this, it's very orange, add some clean water. Come right back. Now I've got yellow ochre, and I'm going to mix that with some of the white paint. Love it. It's really true. So now I'm just mixing on here with the white, the yellow ochre, and I want to try to make this back area here kind of a salmon color at this point. Over here. Now because I'm just joining shapes. If you remember, we talked about lost found edges. If you paint over things, you can put them back in later, but for a whole feel of a painting, this is how you want to do it. So now, let me pull this up so I can show you a little bit. How's that? I don't want to go too long. You can see In here, I've left her shape. I'm trying to build around her to create a feeling of space. I have this color called Portrait Pink here. It's close to what I mixed from the colors I had. You don't usually have to buy special things. I was at Michael's and it jumped into my cart. You know how that goes someday. So it's half gone, but sometimes I use it because it's quicker. It gives another feel. Right here, see, it's almost the exact same color, but I want to block in her face shape and her arm. Just the hands around the glass. A little bit more. His arm is right there, just a little bit kind of on the table. So it's all in that middle hue. I'm going to start with a couple colors just to darken up so you can start to see what happens when you start having fun with it or put pattern in it, whatever you want. You know, excuse me, sometimes you go for one and you think, not yet. I'm still liking the warmth, so I don't want to get the cools in here yet. This is a Mars yellow. And what I'm going to use this for is just a little bit of putting some form, in other words, shapes, back in here. So I can go back in and think about it in the second run, how I want to do it, what I want to cover over. Why am I saying too much in some place where you just want to keep it simple? I think her legs would actually be longer than this, so I'm going to adjust her a little bit. Just put a little quinacridone red on the brush. It's right over here. Forgive me. So I'm going to stop here for now. I've started to block in the shapes, as you can see. The figure is starting to take shape. I've started to blend as some of the paint dries a little bit. So you can see a little bit. And that will take a lot more work, but we made a good start. So now I'd like to move over to this easel to just show you and demystify a little bit watercolor painting. Watercolor, and there's, excuse me, there are notebooks and there are Strathmore watercolor pads that you can cut the paper off, so you don't have to buy loose full sheet of watercolor paper, which is 22 by 30. You can tape it off with painting tape. I'll keep talking. You can paint it whole. You can cut it up. And the thing about it is, I have messed up, obviously, on watercolor paper as well. You can just paint over it. So let me just, for visibility, I'll shift these. So hopefully you can see that more. Now, as you can see, it was from the same photograph, but I want to show you how different the pose of our figure is. She's got her head dropped down. It's almost like while she's reading, we think. Is it the same lady? Is it a different one at the same table? I hope you can see that. Is that a little bit better? So again, we're talking about reality abstract. So the farther you get from that real memory and image you have or looking at as a reference point, that's how you get into the world of abstract painting. Pretty much most paintings are abstracted to some degree. The ones that we think of as realistic, remember, it's not a scene, it's not a person on this flat surface. It is an abstraction of reality. My version of reality abstracted is to take it farther to where you're putting your own voice and feelings in it, what it meant to you, what you have to say in your work. So there's nothing more valuable than creating your own work. It's the greatest gift we have to give the world, especially to ourselves, is our truest voice and our way of expressing our perception of reality abstracted. So here, I still will probably wet the paper a little bit. What's fun, and you can do it with acrylics as well. Look what I found. So this watercolor palette. I came across about 2 weeks ago. Crumbled paint. I squeezed tubes of paint in there all the time. I did find some watercolor paint in my cabinet as I reorganized my studio, so I might do some more watercolor painting. I also found a boatload of watercolor paper, so stay tuned for more videos, hopefully. So in this one, I wanted to show you that use a sponge because that helps clean this up. Watercolor, well, it both stains. I'm messy in any kind of paint. But what I want to show you is I use the same brush. It's water-based paints, and I'll go into here. So I wish you were here actually with me, because then you could tell me which color to start with. But I think I just love this green. There are some amazing colors you can get. So what I'm doing is I wet the brush, and as you can see the water pooling in here. So I'm going to set that on top of my water bin, and I just love it. This is a very wet technique, lots of drips. I keep lifting the palette up to get some other water in here. And on this, see, true confessions, doing these videos for you has been actually very helpful for me, so thank you. Thank you for watching. And I do hope you're creating. Feel free to share your work with me at any time, especially if maybe I helped you in some way get over a fear of something, or helped you get back to your art, or find it for the first time ever. I would love to hear. So my short email address you can write me at is EWR, my initials, Elaine Weiner-Reed, EWR.muse, M-U-S-E, @gmail.com. So I hope to hear from you. There's this soft blue, which is a cerulean blue I love. So if you tape the edges, you can tape it to the board, or I clip it so I can move around, and then you definitely will need a mat unless you're a very clean up to the edge painter. This is why you want drop cloths as well, because it'll drip all the way down, and I'll usually wipe this up a little bit when I'm done. Now, because the paper is dry, I'm going back in to try to soften some of the edges where I don't want streaks. So I'm even coloring her a little bit different. You can see I haven't gone into the yellows yet, but you see my approach is pretty much the same. And I learned in oils, which was very fixed and very different with the turpentine and now the turpenoid that you can use. But I then actually went into, for about 20 years, primarily watercolor and watercolor on paper. So let me show you how different that feels. I love it. It's so fun. Painting on any surface is a joy and should be a joy. If you're not having fun for some reason, maybe you just need to go for a walk outside and get your head on straight and think, why am I doing this? When you're doing it for you and to say something, there will be frustration until you get it right. But sometimes on your way to trying to get some idea down, you will complete some whole other idea or statement. Know that, learn to recognize that, step away from the canvas or paper and put down your brushes and look at a piece for a long time and think, what do I like about it? What's working with it? So I have a funny feeling, because I do get lost in painting, that we might have gone into the lengthier mode. So I hope that you've enjoyed seeing the painting today. Um, Take everyday objects like these chairs. It doesn't have to be at a cafe in France. It can be someone sitting at your kitchen table. Paint what you know, what you love. That's always the best thing to start with, and then explore outward into the world. So thank you. Thank you for coming today. I appreciate it. I hope to see you next time. Please stay safe and healthy. I hope your family is all healthy and well, and I hope to see you back again sometime. Please reach out to me and stay in touch. Thank you for your time. Be safe. Bye.